What's going on, everyone? Average Player here, and I thought I'd get this out of the way before the ban list drop because the deck will change to some sort of extent, and I wanted to try to get at least plats on all the cards that had like this kind of plat or QCRs on most of the cards that were affordable. And I'm saying like less than the $20 range, other than the ones I already have. But I'm not ordering the ones that are like $20 and stuff like that yet. It's gonna be a little bit of time before that one comes. But I would like to boost this deck even more nerdy because it'll look very nice. But yeah, figured I'd get this deck profile out of the way before the ban list because it did change a little bit with the way I've been playing it. So we will see, but we're going to start off with 3 Albert. This is the Despia cards. 1 Quem. 2 Cartesia. In my deck profiles, I always count Cartesia as part of the Despia cards. 1 Tragedy, and I put Adlib back in this time because it actually has been coming up. It's been very good with recurring, and this is one of the cards that I put in preemptively as well if the ban list were to ban Sanctifier. So you'd be getting rid of Gimmick Puppet, obviously. So putting this in is going to help when the ban list drops. Alright, next, the Albaz. 3 Albaz, 3 Albion, 1 Spriggan's Kit, and 1 Mercurier. This is just mandatory. Some people play 2 Albaz, and I think they're wrong. Albion, you have to play it at 3. Card's way too good. It just sucks when you see 2 of them, which is whatever. And then Spriggan's Kit is a good starter if you don't have a starter, but unfortunately you do have to put a card to the bottom of your deck. It's a good late game, too, to bring... If Branded Fusion gets cut in some sort of capacity, you might be obligated to run more than 1 Spriggan's Kit to recur Branded Fusions back from the Banish Zone or from the Graveyard. The Bestials, 1 Libellion, 1 Sereneer. After the ban list, I might dabble in playing more Bestials like Magnamut or... what's the other one? Baldrake more. Other than that, the Bestials here are basically just, your normal stuff for Branded. Got to get access to Lost in some way if you're playing Regained, play Regained. Because Regained can also be a card that you put in for when the ban list happens, but then 1 Puppet. Unfortunately, you got to play it if you're playing Branded right now. So, yeah, but 3 Ash, 3 Mourner, 1 Called By, and so I say I put in Mourner because I have Mourner and it's actually a good card to threaten in those combo decks. But if you're not sure about some things and you're afraid of Gimmick Puppet, I would play Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood instead of Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. Alright, next is the Branded Spells. 3 Branded Fusion, 3 Branded Opening, 2 Branded in Red, 1 High Spirits, 1 Lost. Some people play High Spirits at 3. I think you're wrong. If you're playing Branded in Red at 1, okay, but be prepared to not have a follow-up for it. You basically have to use resources that you could use to get a Branded Fusion back in the late game to get a Branded in Red back, which isn't as good. Unless you really want to do so. Branded in Red, having it at 2 gives you the option to have it late game and have a Branded Fusion accessible to you on top of cards like Adlib that allow you to recycle, and then obviously Branded Lost is in there for obvious reasons. Other spell cards, 3 Fusion Deployment, and you can see the QCRs here. I got 2 plats coming in. 2 Super Poly, you can run 3 if you want to. I run 1 Polymerization, 1 Gold Sark, and 1 Thrust because I only have 1 Thrust. It never really comes up, but when it does, it's a game winner in this deck. The Gold Sark is for... You can banish Mercurier with it, or you could banish Tragedy, whichever one. If you open Tragedy, you're banishing Mercurier with Gold Sark. If you're opening Mercurier or a way into Mercurier, you're going to banish Tragedy off of Gold Sark. Poly's here because this actually came up before where I normal summon Quem, gets ashed, and I'm like, or it gets impermed. I was like, oh, fantastic. Activate something else that gets ashed. I was like, oh, great. What am I going to do now? I was like, oh, Poly. And then fused into Albion and basically just made a Mirror Jade and sat or made a Lubellion, and then made Mirror Jade and sat with a Retribution face down, which is the last card. And that was actually more than enough to hold me off until I opened Brain Diffusion the next turn to absolutely annihilate my opponent, because I had a couple hand traps in hand too. But yeah, that's it for the main deck, though. We're going to go into this extra deck. We're going to try to make it a little faster. We're going to try to just pump out this extra deck. Albion, ×2, 1 Lubellion, 2 Mirror Jade, 1 Mr. Should Be Banned, 1 Tax Dragon, 1 Quertus, 1 Proskenion. This card is very good, especially for Snake Eyes right now. 1 Rinbrum, 1 Grang, 1 Mud Dragon. Love this card. Mud Dragon actually comes up quite a bit for the fact that you summon Mud Dragon, and you don't want, if you're able to summon Mud Dragon, you use its effect with Branded Lost on board in the summon window to make it to where your stuff can't be targeted. So when you're summoning stuff, not only did Branded Lost make it to where your effects can't be negated and you can't respond to cards that fusion summon, or cards that are fusion summoned, they also can't be targeted now. So this is your blanket protection before you know, for your Draco Stapelia, your Garura, and then Guardian Chimera if you don't have the Poly in graveyard. Which Guardian Chimera is also very good if you open Poly, because you can just Poly out whatever, and then if you branded in red a Guardian Chimera, right, it also can't be targeted, so it's basically away from that effect negation for a little bit. For the side deck, not much has really changed here since the last one, so I'm going to try to pump it out. There are 3 Nibiru for the monsters. It's the only one we have for monsters in the side deck. 3 talents, 1 Duster, and then you got to involve 2 Lightning Storm in this, and then 2 Forbidden Droplet. For this deck, these cards right here, the Harpies, Feather Duster, the Lightning Storms, Forbidden Droplets, are going to be the one you're probably going to side in the most for matchups because of how versatile they are. The Lightning Storms, the Harpies, Feather Dusters, and the Droplet is just so versatile. Snake Eyes falls really hard to it if you open it. A combination of any of those. Branded, if you're playing the Branded Mirror, and you Forbidden Droplet, it is very good, but also you have to be careful of Brightest Blazing. So, Droplet's just so good right now, in my opinion, and you combine it with any one of those other cards, you're basically breaking boards. You're breaking boards so easy. But Fusion Duplication, Brightest Blazing, this card is amazing. And then 2 Eradicator, which Eradicator is good because you can Mirror Jade Banish and then tribute off the Mirror Jade to make sure your opponent's spells can't be done with. Or your opponent's spells can't be activated, or traps, whatever they're playing. Which is basically okay, this is my lab card. These 2 are my lab cards, which are also searchable off of Thrust. So yeah, you have a lot of you have ways to do anything. You're basically digging a lot, so it's fine. Anyway, hope you all have a good one. See you later.